Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to my workshop. So today I am looking at blast gates for dust extraction, the problem that I faced with leaky gates. And I have stripped my gates completely, front and back, and of course the gate itself. And what I've done with these, on the surface where the air is going to go through, I have primed this with grey primer because I'm going to be coating that with another bit of paint. It's a rubberized paint or ruggedized paint, actually more so rubberized than ruggedized. And one of the reasons is on these gates, they have what I believe are the sprues for the manufacturing, and they've actually stood slightly proud from just a fraction of a millimeter up to probably 0.6 to 0.8 millimeters high. And if you have your gate itself that's supposed to close, that is standing up above the surface where it's supposed to be blocking, there is air coming in, so it therefore becomes leaky. Now, despite the fact that you've got these screws here that are holding that plate in place, if this is standing proud of this surface where it should be flush against, you are going to get air leaks. So what I am trialing out, I'm trying something different, is a product that is normally used in the automotive sector. It's a rubberized spray. And it gives a very nice, almost rubber-like feel to it. And the reason I've primed this with a grey primer is just to make sure that it does actually stick on. And what I've done is now, on the surface that is supposed to seal, I have got the rubberized spray on there, and already it feels so much better in how it actually locks in or seals off. Now, before I did that, I've used my trusty old Dremel to grind down all of those little sprues. I think that's what they call them when they manufacture these. And I'm assuming this is injection, well, it's probably not injection molding as in plastic injection molding, but it's some sort of a molding because this is a rough surface. But anyway, I have ground all of those down, and even the recessed ones. I don't know if you can see that, how well you can see some of those maybe. There's some of the recesses there. Even those I have just ground down in case there is a bit of material that keeps it standing proud. So by coating this with a rubberized coating, I am hoping that this is going to give more of a seal. Although this coating being designed for the automotive industry, yeah, you can see where I've actually sprayed those two. It is made to peel off. So there you can actually see that actually does peel. So one of the concerns I have is that probably this will eventually come off. However, in my setup, I have these things facing where the air is drawn from the bottom, and these will not really rub against each other as you can see here. So they will more so be sucked into place, and that should give a good seal because that little knob over there will hit against that part there, so it actually forces it against the opposite end, and then when you screw this knob down, that is also going to push it down. So assuming that these are dead flat, which I have seen some of them have been slightly curved, that should give a far better seal than what I currently have. So at the moment I have 5 gates. But one over that side, there's 2 over there, and 2 up in the air this side. And when my extractor, which is not the most powerful, it's doesn't draw the highest volume of air. I think it's about 950 cubic meters, I beg your pardon, 950 cubic feet per minute, which is not unreasonable, but it's by far not the most powerful. I can hear the air coming through these. So as a result, I've had to try and find a solution. On one of them, I also created this little gasket. The idea of that was also to sit on there. That I'll take another one, take one of these here, to sit on there so that that can also take one of these that I've painted. That when that moves, it does give a better seal against that. And so far, that's actually worked not too bad. Now, I don't know about the longevity of this. Hopefully, this coating will be better, but that remains to be seen. So as you can see, I've coated one. I still have 5 more to coat. So all in all, I have 6. So it's 1 spare blast gate. And the hope is that these will do a lot better job in sealing. Because what I have noticed is that on the drum sander and also on the bandsaw, there's not as much of a suction as what I would have expected. There's still a lot of dust left behind. And my feeling is that because I can actually hear in those gates that there is some leakage there, if those are properly sealed, then I should get a better vacuum. So the next thing is to assemble this, but also to spray the remaining 5 with this liquid rubber, or this rubberized paint, and to reassemble my very small ducting system. The hope is that it will give me a far better healed or far better suction of all the dust that I'm trying to extract. So what I'm actually using is this product here called Full Dip. Now, I'm not affiliated with them, but this is what I found online, and it's available to me in Ireland. This is around about 11 or 12 euros for this can, and I have decided to use that. And the reason why I've gone orange is just so that I can actually see the gates, because they will all be facing up, so I can see which gates are open very quickly, very easily, as opposed to the standard silvery grey color, which against the rest of the backdrop wasn't always easy for me to see. Although now my bottom there is, the bottom of the wall is now blue. That used to be grey, so that's a little brighter. So should be able to see that pretty good. So the next job is to assemble these ones. Go and coat these. It'll probably take me a couple of days to get that coated, because for each coating that I do seal off with masking tape. I coat, let it dry. Well, I peel the tape off, then let it dry. I give a decent amount of time to dry, and then I reapply another bit of masking tape for the next coat. And what they recommend is doing up to 4 layers. And on this, there are 4 layers of paint, and it actually feels very, very nice. It's relatively smooth, and I am quite upbeat about how this might feel, because this actually feels very, very good. To me, it feels as if it's going to give a nice seal to it. So let's assemble this, let's paint those, get it up and running, and we'll see how it goes. So for reassembly, the first step was to add a foam gasket to form a seal between the underside of the gate and the sliding gate itself. This may not be a perfect seal, but certainly a huge improvement on the standard product. The thickness of the foam gasket that I used was about 2 millimeters thick, which is about 0.08 inches. That is followed by the next step, step 2, which is to screw the 2 main body parts together. When I attempted to remove the screws, they were extremely tight. That's led to me damaging some of the
screw heads. As a result, I won't retighten them as tightly as what they were originally, but I may opt to use some thread lock in the future if these screws do tend to come loose. The final step was to create a flap on the open end of the duct using some duct tape. This allows for the gate to seal when it's open, because there's a bit of a gap there, and also allow any potentially trapped dust to be ejected out of the top end of the gate. This will also prevent the gate from not closing due to the trapped sawdust. So the tape was secured with its own tacky or sticky side to the gate and then neatly trimmed. Well, as neatly as what I could have cut the tape using a very sharp knife. Then the final part of the assembly was to seal both ends, both edges, with silicone sealer, as the two mating surfaces were not totally flush and were also leaky. So unfortunately this was not framed very well in the video, and apologies for that, but I think you'll get the idea of sealing the two edges with the silicone sealer.
Right, so I've finally finished assembling my blast gates, and there you can see a bright orange, and the reason for the color is just to brighten up the place a bit. I could have chosen any number of colors, but I decided on orange. Now these would typically be sitting in that direction, so the painted surface facing up. I have two blast gates over there. I have one over there. I have one up there for the CNC, and one that you can't see is up top here for my bandsaw. So they will generally be up facing that direction with the dust source from that direction, and anything that is open, especially on the lower ones, I'll be able to see quite easily whether they're open or not, easier than what the ones up there are. But I've had to put a bit of tape to seal off this end because there is still a bit of a gap. If you can see, I don't know how well you can see that, between this little screw knob there and the actual gate itself, there's a bit of a gap there. So when that is open, there is chance or a source of air being pulled through there, which you don't really want. So I've added in some rubber sponge double-sided tape that I've only stuck on the one side. The other side remains unpeeled, so that is not going to stick anywhere. And then on this end here, I have made a flap. Now this is not my idea. I actually saw someone else doing this on a YouTube video, where this end needs to be opened, because if it is closed, you can get dust gathering in there, even if it's open, etc. But once it's open, it should close that. Once the gate is closed, it should force any dust that is collected out of that hole there still. So the moment you open it, that would want to close, and it would seal that there. And of course you have this end sealed with that rubber inside there. So all in all, I'm quite happy. It's just a matter of me going to reinstall these now. It's taken me just over a week to complete the whole process. One of the additional things that I've done is to put some silicone sealer. This is transparent silicone sealer. It's actually from the bathroom kitchen type that I've had, so it's antifungal. Not that that matters here, but that will prevent any gaps from forming in there, because the same as I've had to clear some of the sprues or some of those little protrusions on the surfaces of this side of the gate, there were some right on this mating surface here, which I didn't realize at the time. So I've had to go and additionally clear those. But all in all, I'm quite happy with that. So that should seal quite well, with this being a rubberized type of coating. As for the longevity, I can't say at this stage. I did have one issue on this one where I was opening. There was a bit of a rough spot there where it actually gripped, and it did start peeling away, or actually shaving away at that paint. But this is fairly free now, so I'm quite happy that that is going to seal the way that I'm expecting it to. So all of these have flaps, and of course the silicone sealer on the sides here. Right, so all of those blast gates are installed. The one above the bandsaw, the one above the CNC, and the two over there. The one down at an angle of 45 degrees, that's actually for the planer thicknesser. Then the one going vertically down, that is for dust collection, and the one on the far side is for the drum sander. Now, I appreciate that this is not scientific, but the suction is far better. I can feel it. When I felt with my hand, the suction on this one up here, it actually drew my hand against the opening. So there's definitely a lot more suction. And when I swept a bit of dust, some of the sawdust down that way, before it even got to the opening of that dust collection, or that dust shoe, whatever you want to call that, that contraption down there, the sawdust was already been drawn in. So there is already a huge improvement. Now, for the sealing of the pipes on the top end there, and this one over here, I already had some electrical tape, electrician's tape. I've removed that, and I've added that self-amalgamating tape. And one thing I didn't realize with the tape is that it actually has this backing, which I should have understood that it would have. And simply what this is, this needs to be removed. Otherwise, the roll, as they roll it up, is going to amalgamate. It's going to stick, and it's going to be rendered useless when you purchase it and try and use that. So I cut a length which is about the diameter of my 4-inch pipe, 100mm pipe. So I think the outer diameter is probably 105 millimeters, 106 millimeters, I'm not quite sure. It's probably too long, because this you can stretch to probably twice its original length and even longer. So I probably only needed maybe 3/4 of the diameter, and I would have stretched that, and that would have been quite sufficient. So I have the 5 blast gates installed, working well. One of them actually failed on me before I even put it up, and I'm not really certain why that is. I can only assume that perhaps there was some dirt and there was a bit of a high spot there, and when the gate itself rubbed against there, it actually pulled this coating off. So there you can actually see, as I've mentioned before, that this is a rubberized product. It is meant to peel off eventually. So that's one thing that I need to fix up again going forward. So as I said early on, this is not scientific, and I don't know how well this will last. Now, this has proven to me that this is a problem, or potentially a problem. However, the other 5 gates that I have, they still slide very, very smoothly, and it's a matter of seeing over time how they will last, whether they will also peel with wear eventually, which I expect probably will happen. But I'm quite happy with the outcome at the moment, because the suction definitely is far improved. So it's just a matter of me getting each of the machines working and see how the suction actually works for each of them, especially the bandsaw, because I know that there's a lot of collection of dust right in the bottom. And of course my drum sander. What I found so far is that there hasn't been enough dust extraction from there. Most of it is gone, but there is still a lot that's left behind. And I'm hoping that with this improvement of all of the little air gaps, etc., that should suck up the rest of the stuff. So thank you for watching. Please leave your comments below, and I'm sure there's going to be some good comments, perhaps some not so good comments, but that's fine. This is the solution that I found for myself, and we'll see how it goes. So if you think I have deserved it and you like the video, please do like it, and please do subscribe also, and thank you for watching again.